So moving back into our presentation, the next thing that we're going to look at today is AI content detection. Now, again, we had a whole full-blown webinar on this, so I'm going to touch high level on it today. If you want to go check that out, by all means, you can. But at a high level, we're basically looking at here is back in November of 23, a study was done, and I think that this is now very outdated, that at that point in time, over 60% of scholarship applications leverage the assistance of tools like ChatGPT to help write their essay content. Now, many of you have essay prompts that are very personal storytelling. So you might be wondering, well, how are they using AI if it's a personal essay? I think we'd be very shocked, or maybe you're not shocked, of how good, especially now with ChatGPT 4.0 or 4.0, really is. And so, applicants are actually copying and pasting essay prompts out of your scholarship forms, putting it into those tools, and copying and pasting it back in. Now, ideally, I think, again, tools like ChatGPT and AI utilization are not going away. In fact, I think they should be promoted, and they are being promoted both in the workforce as well as in school. It's a tool to make our lives more efficient and easier. And so if that is the case, we would expect applicants to use them. How do we expect them to use it? More so would be helping them build a framework around an essay. So, hey, here's an essay prompt. Like, what are the 6 kind of key areas that I should talk about? And then from there, the applicants can jump in and actually write their own essay, right? So it's helping build like an agenda for their essay. Again, I think that's okay. What's not okay is direct copying and pasting out of those tools into your scholarship forms. We also need to kind of take into consideration that we'll get into our tools here in a sec. If we're going to be running detection and looking into if it was utilized or not, we have to know where to look. So that means a lot of times we need to move essays and content out of file uploads and more so into like the submission tool that you're utilizing. Bigger picture, if you're also redacting data, it's significantly easier to redact open-ended text in a form versus having to download, export, redact stuff and put it back in. So the things that I think you need to think about and why this is helpful is, what is the threshold? Like, you're not going to have people not use AI. That's understandable. So like, what's the acceptable amount? And then where can I as a company come in to help you out? And that's kind of where we'll get into next, which is a tool that we're calling Sidekick. It will be launching here hopefully in the next month to 2 months. We're deep into development. But the goal behind it is to not make decisions for you at all. The goal is to help bring awareness to what's happening so you can make data-driven decisions. What I also will tell you is, over the next 6 to 8 months, this is going to dramatically change as those tools are adapting and growing, as we're identifying additional trends. And my commitment and promise to you is that we will stay at the forefront of providing value. So the way that we envision this working is, you're going to have some type of menu system, which you already have in Reviewr, that shows you a listing of all of your applicants or your candidates. The next thing that we want to do is run kind of 2 different detections. One is going to read all of the desired essay prompts. So you may not want to run it for everybody. You may save this just for your finalists. Again, there's so many ways to incorporate this, but we're going to run 2 different types of detections. One is, hey, on these essay questions, how much AI utilization was there? Was it 100% copy and paste, or is it 10% where they just helped write grammar and spell check, right? Because that's, even nowadays, tools like Grammarly will flag it. The other check we want to run is going to be things like plagiarism. So obviously it's not as prevalent in scholarships, but it is obviously in scientific research papers and symposiums, abstracts, speakers, things like that. So we're going to give you 2 different kind of columns. One will be the score for AI detection, one will be for plagiarism. And the main goal here is for you to be able to filter and sort and visualize, like, what is that threshold. So on average, I have a 27% rating. So anybody who's over 20%, specifically like the 80+% range, are ones that we may want to kind of look into a bit further. So if that is the case, what we'll do from there is we'll open up their profiles and we'll show you each of the individual questions that they filled out, that we ran detection against. And you're going to see, again, 2 scores. One will be the AI detection, the other will be the plagiarism detection score. So the thought here is that you can actually click into the AI score and it'll show you exactly how it was detected. So it'll show you, like, if it was 100% content, if it was 15%, but then a human intervention. so that we can start to make data informed decisions. Now, we're using multiple tools and integrations to do this. We cannot rely on just a single source, especially as additional tools like ChatGPT emerge. So you've got like your Claude, you've got all these, you've got tools from Microsoft. So we have to be able to check multiple tools, multiple sources, and then think of it like a credit score where you're not just using your FICO score. It's incorporating like 4 different kind of scores for one comprehensive overview. And that's kind of our rationale behind that. Kind of going back to your plagiarism detection, significantly easier, right? Because it was plagiarized, that means it exists somewhere. We know where that is. So we kind of dive deeper into that score. We're able to not only identify if it was plagiarized or not, but how much it was. So if it was a verbatim word for word identical match, if it was paraphrased, if they made some small tweaks to it, we can actually physically show you both what we caught, but then also where it was found. So again, databases are out there. We can actually see if it was pulled from a website, if it was pulled from somebody else's LinkedIn article. So many cool things are happening. Again, to reiterate, by no means are we here to make decisions for you. We just want to make you aware of what's happening with your applicants so you can make your own kind of decisions. The next phase to this is helping share best practices, right? So we're going to start to really identify like what is the average utilization, right? That way you can start to kind of create your own barometers and thresholds around that as well. We can start to think through like what type of automation do you want to have? So if you start to catch people who are at 80%, like what happens next? Low hanging fruit, toss in some type of checkbox in your form. So if I go back to our example here, if I go to like the last page of my submission form, where you have your e-signature, maybe have a couple check boxes here that says, yeah, I am who I say I am. Yeah, this is all accurate. And yes, I did not use AI, right? That in itself is going to defer a lot of people away from using it. But if they are going to use it, we're here to help.